All right, guys. Hey, this is part 2. This is just a light language video. So welcome to this video, or in flow. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to do a little mix of both. I just did an energy update for the equinox, just kind of sharing what I was seeing, feeling in my own reality, trying to keep things simple. This is going to be a word flow, energy exchange, whatever. For my intention is to be whatever is going on in the collective that I can assist with in connection with my higher guidance team. So some of this is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis, although it could be. We'll see where we go with this. Just taking a nice deep breath in and a long exhale, allowing yourself to drop into your body, going into the heart space, finding yourself kind of settle into your skin, and just being open to receiving any messages or codes that are relevant for the expansion of us all. Each individual person is different. And so that's how these words that come through can activate, or they create a pattern or a frequency that some people can feel, essentially. Shukura haya natitikira, dura ayatukura ushterhet irach urutur anatitira. Nirahar utetitikra unno tutukur stetikir hat inikira. Niraro shterhero ok unatira haya tukur bur hat inikri ara ushterhan ur rahku. Shutu kushtanaha nakushter hak utatara. Shutu kurmahat inarhak urstinikira hayanarha ora. Tirahak urhit inikiraha sturahar ututukura inetira. Ira ora uturu shterhet irahak ura. You guys can join me if you want, a little tapping around the forehead, eyebrows, third eye. Kur ititur stukur hat irahak ura. Sturu dukur burhenet itarahak urenet arhit iraha. Kiaya kwe ninikine burhenet iki wasturhenatira. Breathing, grounding, feet on the ground would be recommended right now. Some people can feel a little spinny from this. This is just meant to be felt, and go back into the heart as these energies kind of move around in the field. Reminding ourselves that nothing is being accessed right now that is not already accessible within you. For you are opening to these frequencies that we all have access to. We are all connected into this boundless network of frequency exchange. The movements and the methods that I am using are not necessarily the methods and the movements that you are used to using, yet they are something that we can all create in our own adventure, our own ability, our own getting out of judgment about how this look or should feel, how this could or should look. For the blood of our ancestors runs through all of our veins. We are all the mycelium network, the innervenous, the innervenous. I'm seeing Venus, and I'm seeing that like this network that's pushing through and pumping blood to all of humanity. And I'm seeing actually also Venus and the shape, the vibration of Venus. Many of us are remembering our own individual healing modalities, and this can be in and from multiple realities, yet it is held within our own sequence of DNA. For each of us has access to our own vein, if you will. I'm seeing gold, the gold veins. As the shamans of ancient ways used all ways, they harnessed the lines, the dream lines, the song lines, the gold lines, the colors, the frequencies, the shapes, the animals, the elementals, all things were used as healing tools, for we are accessing all things. And we spin within these frequencies and send out these spindles of energies that are merely taking up residence within this particular vessel. And within these different wavelengths, within these different bandwidths, within these different frequency signature connection points, these different sound healing tools, one might refer to, with the languages that are rolling through the atmosphere, allow these to tune your tune, if you will. If you choose to tune into this, recognizing that your tune may sound a little different. Your tune may create differing frequency conduction signals. And let us play together in this framework. You are invited to make your own sound geometries, your own sound configurations, if you choose to share these in this own liberating way. So I'm seeing liberations, libations. For many have forgotten the ways of old, the ways of connecting with our own self-reflection, feeling into what is being drawn into your own reverberation. Play on words. We move these energies around in order to display the sound and the currency that is being tapped into right now. I'm seeing a root and a tree and like maple syrup. It is less about the words, more about the vowels, the sound vowels, the sound that comes up from the root system, from the root of language, from the root of the frequency of the sound, of the feeling, of the geometry, of the geo tree, the geoman tree. For what is language other than linguistics, other than sound, other than frequency that is rolled through the geometry of the human tree, of the anatomy of the human? What is it that we use to communicate? Why is it that we should confuse communication with a particular set that isn't for everyone? So I'm basically being shown that we all have different ways of communicating, and my way may not be your way, but we can play with this and see what does feel right, what does reverberate for us, what pings off of our space, our spatial circumference, our harnessing energy of notes. Let us spin the wheel, if you will, of delight, of colors, of frequency in flight that are moving through. I'm seeing particles, and I'm seeing the spin of language. So if you guys feel called, look up Dan Winters. You can look up, he has the Hebrew language, I think, shown on a toroidal field. And the ancient ways have been lost in the shuffle, yet we are shuffling our feet. And as we continue to shuffle, we walk over that which we have walked over before. I'm hearing walk this way. What is that, Aerosmith? Walk this way. I'm seeing like we walk in a different way. So some of the like we're not grooving out the same nodes. All of a sudden, we're getting this new growth coming up. And as we pull up those roots, we see what was underneath it and what's been covered up. And then we're taking this and we're creating our own. So we're bringing up this information from the ancestors that's in our blood, that's in our DNA, many of us. We're communicating, but we're now from that creating a new way of communication. So it doesn't have to be exactly how it used to be. Cool. Playing with sounds creates a pattern. It creates a communication sounding board. It creates the ability to be open to the communication that moves through all things. It creates the ability to be, I'm seeing accessibility, accessing the key, ability to key into the signature frequency that we are all connecting into. It creates a collaboration of the highest accord, a caliber. It allows us to calibrate to the caliber. Okay, I'm seeing calligraphy. I'm seeing the calibration, like we're burring into, like a burr, creating a new footing. It's allowing us to stabilize, actually, when we play in this way, because we then stabilize a new language. And it's not necessarily light language, what I'm sharing with you guys. I'm sharing ancient language, but it can be dance, song, hand movements, mudras. It can be artwork. It can be moving crystals around in a certain geometric pattern. This is all how we communicate, sign language, right? With our environment, with each other. And this is something that we can access and tap into to make this more playful and fun, to make it feel expansive. And not everyone will feel into this field and want to play. And that is their own feeling. And as we put this on display, they can choose or choose not to play. For some, play with science, and they are deeply embedded within the scientific communication of the universe through numbers. Some, it's through poetry. Some will never tune into this particular coded geometry, yet they are tuning in their own way. So I'm just kind of moving these energies around. And it all comes back to source. It all comes back to the silver chalice. the golden chalice, the cup that runneth over. The gold that runs through all of our veins, that which is cleansing out the vanity, moving us into a higher reality, a higher plane, a higher ability to play, a higher rate of conductivity. It changes our ability and to see. It changes how we see. It changes how we conduct our frequency and what we decide to play and weave. Sometimes I just like to rub my wrists together. It's like a heart frequency. So again, I invite you guys to do the same thing if you want to. You don't have to, or do whatever you feel called to do. Sometimes when I'm doing these videos, somebody might want to move in a completely different way. So taking a nice deep breath in and a nice exhale. Whew. Actually, I'm going to finish this off. Okay, so we're going to end on that note, you guys. In a nutshell, thank you so much for tuning in and playing with these energies. We all have these abilities if we want to use them, but ultimately it's not necessarily something I want to just share. This is what I play with. It doesn't mean that's going to be what you play with, but if it can help you feel more open and expansive, you can utilize it as a tool. Your toolbox might be the ability to fill in the blanks. Everybody has their gift, right? And know thyself. It's the video I just talked about. Get grounded, get anchored in your body. When I share, whenever we're doing this like healing work, I'm not doing the work. I'm not the one that's actually doing it. You're just opening to what it is that I'm sharing, should you choose to open to it. And if it doesn't do anything for you, that's okay too. So recognizing sometimes that it's just about having fun and playing in our environment and expressing ourselves in the ways that makes us really happy, and allowing that joy to be shared through this liberation of what we've been locked into. My friend Jess said, she's like, I feel like I've been in this coffin and the nails have been pushed out of the coffin, and all of a sudden I have an expansive place here or an expansive place there. And I love that analogy because that's what it is. We've been locked in this version of reality, version of ourselves, just because we didn't know necessarily that there was more, or we were unable to really visualize more, feel more, sense more. And that's changing for many people. So, right, welcome to the golden age. In love and light, namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in.